Michigan had the strongest finish to the 2024 college football season, I think, of anyone. That didn't make the college football playoff, that is. So what's going to be the record in 2025 when you finish the 2025 regular season for the Wolverines? We'll talk about it right now, but Michigan fans, let's get locked in, baby. Season around the corner. Week 2 movie at Oklahoma. If you want all the content for the college football season, this is your spot. If you want more content around your Michigan Wolverines, the best way to let us know that is by subscribing. Now, a lot of y'all have already done that, so thank you for doing that. But to give you some inside baseball here, we can see how many subscriptions we get from any given video. So if we do a Michigan video like this one, and y'all are subscribing like it's going out of style, it's like, okay, hey, the good folks out there in Ann Arbor, they're dialed in. Let's make sure we have some supply to meet their demand. So thank you for being locked in. Without further ado, let's break down what we got on deck here for Michigan. Going to go game by game here in a minute, but I just want to start with this preface. If you are a Michigan fan and you've been reading in the headlines around how you got Bryce Underwood flipping from LSU, new offensive coordinator Chip Lindsey who's going to spread things out a little bit more, I know part of this feels weird, because it feels like it's starting to drift away from the bread and butter Michigan where it's like, no, we're just going to suffocate you and pound the rock and run it 32-plus times and just like break your will. I think that will still exist, but the way that they are, I would say, evolving as an offense is, I think, the direction of modern college football. Like in the Big Ten, when you're adding in USC and you've got Washington, you've got Oregon, like, all that's to say, as a whole now, UCLA as well, you're adding more offenses, I think, that are going to, any given Saturday, whoever you end up playing of that group any given year, they're going to have quarterbacks that can apply the pressure to you. And so while Michigan's formula works when you're operating at the highest level of we're going to just, line it up with a fullback and run it down your throat, I don't think that's the strategy that provides the least amount of margin for error. Like if you're going to run that style of system, you better do it better than anybody else in America, like you did in 2023. But if you're not operating at the highest level, I think you've run into what you ran into a year ago. Like, as good as Michigan was when they were on their P's and Q's, where they got into rock fights, they can run the football, like it didn't matter how many yards they threw for. There's also a game out there where it's like, hey, if we could throw the ball a little bit better, we'd be able to maybe adapt and beat you at this other kind of style of game. So that's what you're doing now with Bryce Underwood and Chip Lindsey being added into the fold. You're not ditching old Michigan. That's still there. You're just adding in a different gear, ideally, for what this offense wants to be, with a freak show at quarterback and Bryce Underwood, wire-to-wire best player in high school football a year ago, and an OC and Chip Lindsey, who I mentioned, is going to be a little bit more spread. What I think you did a year ago, though, was you proved just how rock-solid that floor is for what Michigan football is going to be here, as long as Sherrone Moore is there. Because you had multiple guys on the defensive side that went out and got drafted, a couple in the first round. I think when you look at the traits of Michigan in 2025, what I just said about, make you say uncle, be physical, all that, that's still very much in place. And with that being in place, that's going to keep Michigan from ever falling off the face of college football where you miss a bowl game or you only win, less than 6 games, obviously, which is missing a bowl game. I think you solidified that's going to be your identity here moving forward. Why? Because that's who your head coach is. That's his energy. That's who Jim Harbaugh was. That's who your strength and conditioning program decides you want to be. That is still there. So what it's going to come down to for Michigan here to get to where they want to go in 2025 is how quickly does it click for Bryce Underwood? Because if you watched the spring football game when they did I guess they did live to tape and played it a week later to make sure guys didn't hit the portal and got tampered with, which pro move by them, I suppose. Bryce Underwood made a lot of throws where you just kind of sit back and say, oh, okay, that's different. Yeah, that football had a little bit of extra juice on it. He's throwing on the run, putting it on the outside shoulder, and that thing had tons of velocity. Like, we haven't seen that here in a minute, maybe ever, with the kind of skill set he has. But there was a part of you that's like, some of those throws are just a touch amiss or a touch late, or you can just tell he's still acclimating to playing college football, which is totally fine because he'd been on campus for all of 15 practices. But when it does click for him, that skill set and that talent, it's gonna be nightmare fuel for everyone else across college football, especially in the Big Ten. The game I need that by, I said this before, I need that by like the USC game. If he's dialed in by the USC game, then all bets are off. Michigan's gonna be a college football playoff team. But if it's still some clunkiness and we're trying to figure things out, then it might be a year where, okay, it wasn't this year. What's next year hold for us? In that same breath, I think we'd be irresponsible to just assume that he has everything he needs on this offense to be at his best. You'd hope he does, but when you're trying to evolve the offense from what you were a year ago into the Chip Lindsey scheme, I think it's fair to say, hey, that there might be some runway required here to totally get things all dialed in. Like the metaphor for me here is how moved in are you? You know what I'm saying? Because like that first year you move in somewhere, I don't know about y'all, but for me it's like I'm usually living out of cardboard boxes for the first few months, depending on what else we have going on the calendar. Like it might be, it's not till, December. I moved in January to where we actually have all the silverware where it's supposed to be and the plates actually in the cupboards. Like it takes some time to totally have your space meet your way of living. It takes some time to have your offense meet what your roster has. So do you have that? Again, I don't know. There's been questions around the offensive line. I love Donovan McCulley, the transfer from Indiana. I love Peyton O'Leary, walk-on wide receiver, who's continued to elevate for them. I feel like it's fair to always kind of trust what Michigan has in the tight end room, but like at what degree is all of that effective in coming together with your true freshman quarterback? So let's go game by game here and give you my prediction for the win total. New Mexico, quick dub. At Oklahoma, I really like John Mateer. I worry a little bit about Bryce Underwood's first road start being against a Brent Venables defense. I think you actually dropped that game. You beat Central Michigan. You go to Nebraska in the Bussin' Bowl. All right? Now, in this spot, you will not have Sherrone Moore on the sideline. All right? I do think you still find a win the game on the road. I think that kind of, I don't want to say galvanizes the team because that feels like too strong a word, but I do think that provides some confidence of like, hey, we can do this now. Got a big win on the road in a place that is tough to play in Lincoln, Nebraska. Like, okay, we can do this with our true freshman quarterback, again, who I fully expect to start for you. And I think that kind of gets the vibes going in a good direction. So off a bye, you beat Wisconsin. You go to USC. This is where the new offense, again, has got to be in a good spot. I think it's in a good enough spot. I think that the defense has a big day in this situation or in a big effort to beat USC. I think you get that win on the road. Now, here's what worries me. You have a letdown spot after a big road win against a scrappy, feisty Washington team that beat you a year ago. I think that letdown spot mixed with my assumption that there's some growing pains still in play here for Bryce Underwood, I think you drop the game against Washington. You're saying, Judy, we're not losing at home. Fair enough. Just how I'm seeing this whole thing shake out, that's the loss that I think creeps up on Michigan that maybe makes you say, okay, he is still a true freshman quarterback. There is still some runway. There is still some things we have to get ironed out. Whether it's him, whether it's the offense, we're not all the way moved in yet. All right? Against a Jed Fish team who's going to be in year 2. At Michigan State, it's a win. Against Purdue, God bless Purdue, but it's a win. You got a bye week. You're at Northwestern, quick dub. At Maryland, quick dub. Then you play Ohio State. Now, hear me clearly. You have owned Ohio State better part of the last few years. I totally understand that. I think that Ohio State and the roster talent they have and just how personal and how scrappy that team is and how personal that game is going to be to them, y'all, they need it. Like, I know you say you need it too, but I think Ohio State and the sense of urgency they have around that game, I'm going to go ahead and lean Ohio State and the roster talent they have. I think that you actually drop that game against the Buckeyes. So you finish with the record of 9-3. As weird as that would feel to have your third loss on the last game of the season, as much as you might disagree with that, I think as you take a step back and you get to the offseason part of the year, winter conditioning, if you're a Michigan fan, I think you can sit here and say, all right, it's working. It's working. I mean, we won 7 games in the regular season a year ago, 2-win improvement. I'd imagine the product looks better. You have your future at quarterback very much so in place, and you're getting everything moved in around him. I think 9 wins with what Bryce Underwood I think will show in the 2025 campaign will attract a lot more talent. Because I think at 9 wins, you then make the pitch to guys via the portal or maybe even on the recruiting trail still. Hey, we're that close. You want to get us over the hump? We're right there. Come be a part of this. Come play with number 19. Like, he's going to only get better as a sophomore. You're a top-tier wide receiver in the portal. I think that's a pretty appealing pitch to make. And we already know now, Michigan, with the resources, they're swinging a big bat. Long gone to the days where Michigan's doing more with less. Like, they're doing more with more. So I think that would go a long way. And I think 2026, not to give you this pitch of like, hey, be patient, 2026 is going to be better, but I think 2026 is the year that I would circle as of right now to where Bryce Underwood's more comfortable, offense is more built out around him. I don't think that Michigan defense is going anywhere. The future is very bright at Michigan football, but I think you fall just a game short of the college football playoff and finish with a record of 9-3. If you think I'm wrong, I mean, shoot, get to 10 wins, you're in the playoff. I'd be happy to be wrong about that. But let me know in the comment section. Let me know on the message boards at the Wolverine, all right, the Michigan On 3 site, what you think the final record will be for your Wolverines. All right, appreciate y'all. Love y'all for Cato on the ones and twos. We will keep this party rolling. We will see y'all next time.